Thank
How
you
you
for
doing?
coming.
My
So
pleasure.
tell me about yourself and Newly Juice.
So I'm Ada Osakwe. I'm the founder of Newly. It's a farm-to-table beverage and food chain. We're basically trying to use locally grown agricultural produce right here in Nigeria, adding value to it through how we present it, how we process it, and make it into affordable, nutritious meals for the everyday person to be able to have access to.
That's wonderful. So as working with the agricultural industry, Nigeria has really focused on oil, and oil is not really bringing in as much GDP as they thought it would. And I think that Nigerian government needs to take their eyes away from that and focus on other things, even textiles. So how do you think that Newly and even other people in this industry that are focusing on food, packaging, and working with our indigenous ingredients and bringing it to the grocery stores for people to be able to afford it at an affordable price, how do you think you play a role?
So a few years ago, I got very aware of how much Nigeria was spending importing food. And you talk about not just any type of food, but food that is more or less our staple: rice, wheat that we use for our, bread that we all eat every day. And we're spending so much money, billions of dollars. And it just kind of irked me. I just couldn't believe that we would do that rather than trying to grow it here or process it here and make it into the foods that we were using. So it got me thinking. And then it was at the same time that, like you said, oil prices were declining at a point when America found shale and things like that. But it really is where we have to, it really spurred me to start the business and focus more on investing in what we do locally and stop spending all that money that we spend and ensuring that we were creating jobs at the same time. Because if we do start producing locally, if we do start processing our foods locally, we can feed ourselves. We can be more food secure. In Africa, we're spending $40 billion annually importing food. And you think about the value of this, the food industry, the restaurants industry, billions of dollars worth. So why couldn't we find ways to take what we have that's abundant for us, that in many cases we're the largest producer globally, but most of this goes to waste.
Yes.
It goes to waste. And I said, we have to do something. So apart from investing in other people, I decided to roll up my sleeves and start this business that was more or less from the ground up, buying from farmers what otherwise they may not have been able to sell. Over 40% food waste is happening at our farm gates. So buying from farmers, making it into nicely branded products, food products that people can consume. So that's really what got me. Started off with the juices, but then took it a step further by providing spaces, restaurants that were now going into other types of foods, but was only using locally grown things. So it's a way of also educating the everyday person, especially in places like Lagos, the urban areas, that we actually grow fonio. I think when you said to me, you said to me earlier on that you didn't really know what fonio is, but fonio is something that we grow across Nigeria in the dry areas, in the north especially.
So that's like a grain?
It's a grain, it's a millet, it's a cereal. And what's fascinating about it, it takes about it's like the fastest growing, you can harvest it in about 6 to 8 weeks.
Wow.
So it's something that and it's grown in arid land. So even if there's no rain or if there's a famine, you can still eat this. And it's so nutritious. So why do we have to import quinoa? Or why do we have to import some of the things that are coming from elsewhere when we can celebrate and grow, consume, and export what we have? So I think that's what is the ethos behind the brand and what we're giving to Nigerians. Make it accessible to have locally grown, affordable, nutritious, freshly produced meals on an everyday basis.
So do you also educate the public about our food systems?
No, absolutely, we do. From the way our packaging, it tells a story. I think I have a bottle of one of our juices here, and it tells the entire story, transforming lives one juice at a time. And we tell them we're creating delicious beverages made from fruits and vegetables grown by Nigerian farmers across the nation. And by doing this, we're making fresher, healthier juice options available to all. And we're also creating a reliable, consistent market for local farmers. Because they have to know that, you know, by overly depending on what comes from outside, you're making farmers in other countries richer while people here are in poverty. So we look, we create that discernment and try to educate people about what we're doing. It's more than just coming in to buy something, but we also educate them on the types of foods by being very deliberate about using only indigenously grown products in all our meals and in all our juice products. And we say it, the people, when you go into Newly, the Newly champs can tell you what fonio does or what cassava does when we use cassava flour.
You have really gone into like the nutrition part of it, and you know exactly where this food is coming from, how it affects the body, how it's also contributing to communities that grow these.
Exactly.
So it's really a farm to table business, and you know where it's coming from, how people are benefiting. So if we are buying from Newly, it's going into the people that produce it, it's going into their pockets.
Precisely.
Okay, that's really wonderful. And how has the infrastructure, the lack of infrastructure, affected your business? Or how has it made you to make you a stronger business woman?
So in many ways, there's a hard infrastructure and there's a soft one. The hard one is what you see, typical issues of, as a business owner, you're having to provide your power, you're having to provide your logistics infrastructure to move things easily. Just moving our goods from the farms, from the markets to our stores, in between our stores to the factories, it's a hassle. I just want to be able to focus on giving a fantastic product, freshly done for the consumers. So it is, it's a big thing. On the soft side, it's really issues around the enabling environment, what we see every day, policies, tax issues, the fact that you need government to be more deliberate and more focused on the growth of businesses and the growth of industry, and specifically in the food industry. So we have had our challenges, many. Everything from store demolitions when government has issues with maybe a landlord, to issues around fighting with police who want to just extort you, or having to go to court with local governments who just want to put erroneous charges on you, and you're just like, I can't do this. I'm not even profitable yet. So what do you want to take from me? What more? So it's a very difficult environment. It definitely is, but at the same time, I try to always look at the bright side. We started off with just being a juice brand in 2015 with only 6 different types of juices, and today we have 12 different types of juices. We just last week got NAFDAC approval for some additional ones. I'm so happy about that. We're stocked, our juices are stocked in Spar, ShopRite, so some of the biggest supermarkets in the country, and then we have a chain of restaurants that we now have 10 stores or restaurants that you can walk into. You get your Newly juices there, but you get more than that. You get the experience, the authenticity, the vibe of being in a place that more or less is so focused on you and the lifestyle of being fresh, living a lifestyle that's very proud of what we have right here and our own local agriculture.
And what does Newly mean? How did you derive the name of Newly?
So I was very focused. So how do I come about the Newly name? I was really focused on finding something that was authentically Nigerian, because I knew I wanted to take Newly to the rest of the world, but the rest of Africa and the rest of the world, but I wanted it to represent where I'm from and where it all started. So I was looking for names and eventually came across Anwuli, which is an Igbo name that means happiness and joy. And because our ethos is to inspire a happier generation, it's to eat fresh, be happy, and everything about Newly, from our colors to the way we try to get our Newly champs in the stores to smile at you and just be very, very, to take all the stress off you. It's very much a mindset. So I decided to coin the Anwuli, Newly from Anwuli. So it's really happiness. And that's really what we live for.
Okay. I'm so happy to have you here, and we hope to see you again. Thank you, Ada Osakwe, for stopping by.
Thanks, Joey. It's a pleasure.